Hey guys, it's Moon Pies. Happy Tube Tuesday, brought to you by netstories.com. What's the difference between a time-sensitive video and an evergreen video? Now, this is something that probably does not come into mind when you're making a video. As a YouTube creator, you're probably saying, I'm going to do this video, this is what I want, and it's going to be great. And you don't really think about what the video will mean in the future, much less possibly a week or 2 weeks from now. And that is where time-sensitive versus evergreen is a factor that should be weighing on you every time you turn on your camera or create a video. Now, by definition, time sensitive is something that's happening right now. So right now it's mid-March of 2018 when I'm making this video, and of course March Madness is making waves. Politically speaking, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's still obviously the whole activism surrounding the Parkland shooting that happened about an hour, unfortunately, from where I live. And all that, just the activism, the gun activism, anti-gun activism, so to speak. And all these things are happening now, and some of them may have lasting power as far as relevance for videos. But for the most part, when you're making a video, you want to think about what that video will stand up to the test of time 5 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now, 10 hours from now, 800 years from now. And that is where evergreen comes in. And evergreen, of course, is something that's always green. Something that may not be scintillating right now. It may not be trending, happening right now. But it's something that over time will still hold up and still have some kind of interest. Now, let's talk about the concept of what they call a long tail. And in economy, they always talk about long tail business. It's basically like you would think, just something that doesn't just end abruptly, something that has a long tail, that has a long lasting power. Your video should have a long tail. I guess that sounds weird that all videos should be rats or whatever animal has a really long tail, not little Cocker Spaniel stubs, but it should. You have to be thinking in that way when you're making a video. And let's just talk about March Madness, since it's not a controversial subject and it's something that will basically hurt anybody unless your bracket got busted early. With NCAA, it obviously is the big topic in the sports world, and even outside of sports world, people around the office who are making brackets, even if they don't know what a college basketball game even looks like. And it's a big deal, but if you were to put out a video with like your bracket and who you think is going to win it all in 2018, do you really think that video is going to hold up once April rolls around? Once the games are over, unless people want to just watch it to laugh at you and see how wrong you were? No. If you want to make a March Madness video, be historical. Talk about the buzzer beaters, the best buzzer beaters, maybe the best March Madness games you ever saw, either in person or on TV. Most of us, I guess, will probably be TV. If you're actually going to make something relative to this exactly 2018 March Madness, make it on a Cinderella team like the UMBC, the number 16 that took out the number 1, or even the Loyola Chicago, which won 2 games despite being a low seed. And not so much talk about like them, but highlights of their season, maybe an introspective on these Cinderella teams, stuff that a couple years from now, people are still going to be talking about how the number 16 beat the number 1 back when UMBC beat Virginia. There will probably be more appeal to that than predicting the winners of any particular game or even talking about any single game right now. So think about it in that perspective. I made a video a couple weeks ago, and it was basically about hopping on hot trends. And I used the example of Emma Watson's misspelled tattoo with time's up, missing the apostrophe over between the E and the S, so it's not correct. And of course, the deal here is that I made the video, and I even used this, basically my thumbnail is Emma Watson with the tattoo. And I know full well that in a few weeks, months, possibly less, I'm going to have to change that thumbnail because no one's going to care. But still, the very premise of making a video on hopping hot trends will. And while I can't go in and update the audio and just sort of dub out my Emma Watson comment for something else, the thumbnail can actually be updated, and I can actually, the advice given applies to any trend. I just used something that was happening at the moment. And that will hopefully give the video more of a shelf life. And shelf life is important because just like you don't want milk that goes stale after a few weeks, you want something that's actually going to last there like a can of Spam. I guess it's unflattering to think of your videos as spam, especially with spam has many other meanings. But think about it as something that you can put in a cabinet for years and it'll still matter. I have a video that when I made it seemed like it was time sensitive. and it's not one of my more popular videos, and it's not something that you've probably even seen. It's a 2011. Once I got 2 cars ago, I had a 2011 Ford Flex, which is this Ford car. That's a very uncommon car because Ford doesn't sell a lot of it, and they're probably going to discontinue it soon. But it's a car that I really enjoyed in a 2011 Ford Flex SEL model. And I just made a video of just walking through it because at the time, a lot of people did not own it. That was around the same time my wife bought a Chevy Bolt with a V, which was one of the first hybrid electric cars that have electric and gas. And I should have done a video on that. I didn't, which would have probably had more appeal now that that car is being discontinued. But with the Ford Flex specifically, I made the video just sort of checking out the features and stuff like that, and you know, just a walkthrough to it. And it wasn't an elaborate video. It's definitely not my expertise. It's not my wheelhouse. I am not a car and driver person by any stretch. But the video was still informative enough where I think, hey, people get a good overview of what this car is like. And of course, the video itself has not been some monster hit. It has about 8,400 views since I uploaded it on May 1st, 2011. So we're talking about 7 years, 8,400 views. Not a lot, but what I want to point out here is that even though the first batch of views, 3,700 views came in 2011, so from May 1st to the end of December, 3,700, a good chunk of the video views, it is still generating views. The majority of the views happened after the first year that the video was up, even though by then Ford Flex was already in the 2012, 2013 model. Last year was 574 views. So far this year, even though we're 2.5 months into the year, it's 211 views. So it's a video that's still contributing to my views and everything else that you want on your channel. And it's something that I think people look back historically and go, oh, maybe I'm picking up this used car. It's a 2011. Let me see if I can see what it looks like before finding it. Over time, I think that will fall off. But it's a video that I thought, hey, this is something that's with a specific year involved that would be a very short tail video that actually grew a long tail just because people are just curious. So if your videos, let's say if you do walkthroughs of video games and you think, well, gee, will anybody care about the Call of Duty Black Ops when another game is out 3, 4, 5 years later, so many other versions of it? The answer is maybe not, because maybe people aren't playing as much as they used to, but there's still relevance. Rather than saying, oh, okay, I'm predicting this is going to happen, or something that's just timely and just has an end date, pretty much as soon as you make that video, it's over. You don't want to do that. So whether you're vlogging, and of course, if you're vlogging and you're chronicling your daily life, you're thinking, oh, who cares? I'm just talking about my issues, what's going on. But even if you're doing something like that, like just talking into the camera without any set goal, just venting about life or anything in your particular situation, try to frame it in a way that you will think will be relevant 5, 10, 15 years from now. Because I've been on YouTube for pretty much more than a decade for sure. I think 11 years, 12 years, whatever. I lost count. But either way, you can have videos on here for a long, long time. So keep that in mind when you make videos. If you can, if you can't, you know, you did what you did. But always come into the mindset thinking long tail. Come into the video thinking evergreen. Come into the video thinking it may be time sensitive. It's a time sensitive topic. But how can I twist that into something that 5 years from now, or maybe even just a year from now, people still want to be looking at it and still get information from it that they can still use. So that's it. That is the importance of the differences and the importance of a time-sensitive video and an evergreen video. This is Moon Pies, brought to you by netstories.com. See you next Tuesday.